It's often said, if you draw water from the Ganga, you must return it to the Ganga. In these unforgiving lanes of Goria Toli, life's lessons are learned early. To compete successfully, you must risk what little you possess, playing to win against all odds. Here is a story as improbable as it is inspiring. Here is a quest that drove a young man with huge ambitions. From the humble markets and bustling bazaars of India's heartland to the clamour of the London Metal Exchange and the big board of New York's stock market.
We conclude this evening with Anil Agarwal, founding chairman of Vedanta Resources. He capitalized on India's economic liberalization.
हाँ ठीक है ना, आपका स्कूल कॉलेज तो बहुत ठीक चल रहा है, सब अच्छा है, ठीक है, फिर मैं कल फिर बात करता हूँ. I speak to my father every day. It's truly inspirational. You know, it happened several times and I said, no more. I'm not going further. He came, put his arm round and said, Anil, you can do it. Try one more time. And I succeeded. It happened several times. I was coming to London. It was impossible. I don't know why I'm going, what I'm doing. I was getting frustrated in India. I was not getting my value. And he says, go. If your heart says, go, we all are there. And we become successful. We listed our company. We acquired several companies in India, abroad. And every time, and including my grandfather, he just expired few years back. He was around and he will tell me, you know, get your work done. Pat on the back of people. Give a smile and get your work done. adjust with the people and get adjusted. And that's how what I am today.
Anil has not forsaken his past, no matter how far he has traveled or how high he has risen. He belongs to India. India's dreams are his own. Here at the Miller School in Patna, Anil studied until the age of 14. After passing his exams, the only words he knew in English were yes and no. Though his own formal education was limited, he encourages students to train themselves so that they can successfully compete in a global arena. The constricted lanes of Goriatoli, where he grew up, were too narrow for Anil's ambitions. He knew that if he was going to take his business to another level, he must leave Patna and move to Bombay. The big city beckoned.
You cannot imagine what this city meant to me. Coming here for the first time as a young man, the dreams that filled my mind, all of the famous places I had heard about, landmarks from so many films I watched in Patna.
How many dreams has this city shattered? Hopes rise and fall with the tide. Anil's first office was here in Kalba Devi, at the time the heart of Mumbai's metal market. The office belonged to Rasik Bhai, an established metal trader who became his trusted business partner. He started with a small desk, squeezed into the corner of this tiny space with a shared line on a telephone.
हमारा बिजनेस में आज ट्रस्ट का सबसे पहला सवाल रहता है और आदमी की जीवन के ऊपर धंधा होता है पहले से भी और अजीम बाबू का तो मेरे ऊपर इतना भी ट्रस्ट था कि आज भी है और पहले भी था शुरुआत से ही इसने मेरे ऊपर छोड़ा था कभी मेरे को भाव रेट पूछता नहीं था बोला इतना माल बेच दो बस इतना मेरे ऊपर ट्रस्ट था
40 years after they first met, Rasik Bhai and Anil remained friends. Their partnership was based purely on trust, a trust that is never betrayed. This is how business is conducted in Kalba Devi and thousands of other bazaars across India. A trader knows that his success depends on the reputation he builds for himself. The commercial ethos that Anil inherited rests firmly upon shared values and personal equations. Wherever his business has taken him, Anil carries these values with him. In the 1980s, when Anil stood on the brink of failure, an old man entered his office and handed him a copy of the Bhagavad Gita. Its message changed his life forever. Every morning in London, rain or shine, he walks to the Krishna temple near Soho Square.
कुरु कर्मत्वं कर्मजायो ह्यकर्मणः शरीरयात्रा पुजते.
As the Bhagavad Gita says, it is your duty to fulfill the work for which you have been chosen, and to complete this work without any expectation of rewards, shedding all greed, lust, egoism, and anger.
More than 3 years ago, Anil invited himself to have a cup of tea, and he came here and we sat in this room to talk about India and his prospects. I found him an amazingly interesting, charming, witty, fascinating man with tremendous aspiration and inspiration and a great ability to look into the future. And I found that absolutely fascinating. Anil's cup of tea turned into, actually, Bill, I'd be quite interested to see whether there was an opportunity to put our two companies together. The original deal was done on a handshake, and that's very rare in this modern world. And through all the trials and tribulations that we had, we both to that handshake with huge determination to do what we thought was best for both sets of shareholders, where it was a win-win and truly based on trust and respect.
The acquisition of Cairn India gave Vedanta direct access to a $150 billion oil and natural gas market. Anil's vision is to produce 50% of India's total oil production.
We have all the natural resources like oil and gas, iron ore, gold, silver, fertilizer. We have to develop this in most environmental friendly manner to take our country forward.
While Anil runs a global business, his thoughts are never far from India, never far from home. His closest friend and confidant is his wife, Kiran. They grew up together in Patna.
This may be a big mansion, but Anil is happiest when he is in his own room, making phone calls to his friends, family, watching television, doing his business conference calls. This is truly Anil's real world. I remember it was always like this. When we got married, we moved into a 400 square foot small apartment in Bombay, no larger than this room. The fact is that we were happy then, as we are happy now, not because of the luxury, but because of the bonding which Anil has maintained within the family.
My brother Anil, what can I say about him? He and I speak several times a day, and every time I meet him, he amazes me with his forward thinking and foresightedness. In terms of family, he's been a great guardian to the wider family and has kind of ensured that each family member's aspirations, ambitions are met, and has been extremely supportive of that.
In total, 8 children are there among 4 brothers and sisters. He is taking for education, for marriage, for business, for settling in life. Everything he is taking care fully for all 8 children.
Well, from childhood, my father has had a very soft corner for me. Like this little girl, however noisy I was, however loud I was, how much of a tantrum I used to create, he used to take me to his board meetings, he used to take me to the most important corporate events, and he used to make me sit there and order me a pizza or something, and he just wanted me to be around all the time. I think that created a very special bond right from the start.
When Anil first brought his family to Bombay, there were many challenges. But the biggest challenge were the unions. They were hostile and aggressive. For Anil, these were the most difficult, harrowing years.
I joined in 1984 when I was just 24. Soon things started falling apart, and I started wondering what I got myself into at the early stage of my career. But soon I realized here was a man with tremendous ability to get out of seemingly impossible situation. With his determination, positive thinking, and ability to keep teams motivated.
During the 90s, the government initiated enormous economic changes, rolling back restrictions and dismantling the license Raj.
First privatization out of India was Balco and then Hindustan Zinc, which was absolutely landmark for the opening of economy for the country and a big breakthrough for me. We could increase production fourfold in Bharat Aluminium and fivefold in zinc. Today, Hindustan Zinc is the largest integrated producer of zinc in the world.
Every asset that he has acquired, either established himself on the ground or acquired by way of purchase from public sector or from a private company, he's added great value. We have noticed, and I can say as a board member, that the productivity goes up, the number of people employed goes up, and the profits go up. And that is something which is demonstrated in our report year after year.
Establishing these businesses, the biggest constraint was capital. In India, the capital was not available. Even the proper valuation was not available. I started looking around the world. Where can I go? I realized that London is the market where most of the metal and mining companies are listed.
Well, back in 2003, when all of this took place, the world was not really aware of the fact that India produced metals and minerals. They thought of India as a market that consumed minerals and metals, not as one that supplied. Anil, of course, had built up a marvelous business in a sterlite empire, but he needed to raise capital for two large expansion projects. And so the idea was conceived that on the foundation of those Indian assets, we would raise money in the London market. And it was an enormously successful listing. I think we raised in the end $875 million. It was the second largest IPO of the year and the first of an Indian company. And it established Vedanta among the large mining companies of the world.
Zambia is one of the world's biggest producers of copper. After acquiring a controlling stake in Konkola copper mines in 2004, Vedanta became the single largest multinational corporation in Zambia, contributing more than 10% of the nation's GDP. Wherever Vedanta has gone, whether it be in Africa or India, Anil has made it his mission to help improve people's lives, especially those of women and children.
Ram Ram. For me, business is not about accumulating wealth. It's about giving back to the society. The business growth should help everyone, top to bottom, especially those who need us the most. Me and my family have placed 75% of the wealth for giving back to the society, for upliftment of the people who need and giving them hope. Child care program is very close to my heart. I've been told 30 to 40% of the children in this country don't get enough food, enough medicine and the education. क्या है ये? और ये क्या करता है? जोर से बोलो.
और ये क्या है? बिल्ली कैसे बोलती है?
The underprivileged children of India and the severely malnourished and the moderately
Anil is constantly in touch with his CSR managers, motivating them with the same focus and energy that drives Vedanta's growth.
We don't have a business there, we are doing so much of work.
It is amazing how it has brought us closer to the community.
I've not known Mr. Anil Agarwal for very long, nor could I say that I have had an opportunity or the pleasure of knowing him very well. But he's a person that has impressed me enormously. I've come to respect him because of what he has achieved in life himself and his sensitivity in wanting to share his prosperity with the people from and the area from which he had his initial roots. You don't find many people today that have that kind of sensitivity, and you don't find that many people who don't crow that much about what they're doing. He does it in a very quiet way.
Vedanta's success as a corporation fuels its philanthropic goals. As a $70 billion metals and mining group, Vedanta has joined a league of global giants like BHP Billiton, Anglo American, and Rio Tinto. I want to remain as a common man on the street, must laugh once in a day. And I don't think I'm meant for the fame, and I don't have that heavy head. I want to remain always light, puts my hands up, and leave things to the nature. Whatever it comes, you accept it. Anil's dream is to lift his country out of poverty, cynicism, and inertia. His inspiration comes from American entrepreneurs and philanthropists like Rockefeller, Carnegie, and Ford, whose most important contributions to the future were the great centers of learning they endowed. By supporting higher education and research, they fostered innovation and progress. Anil believes that India's future lies in the creation of major universities like Harvard, MIT, or Oxford. For Anil, economic prosperity signifies nothing unless it contributes to the greater good. Our fortunes are like the ceaseless current of a river, yielding to the bountiful providence of the sea. Me and my family are committed to investing $1 billion to help establish Vedanta University, an institution of higher education and research and liberal arts that will fulfill India's potential and serve as a beacon for scholars, scientists, engineers, artists, and leading thinkers wherever they might be. As the American philosopher and poet Ralph Waldo Emerson once wrote, "The only true gift is a portion of thyself." Emerson was inspired by verses in the Bhagavad Gita, which reveal a gift is pure when it's given from the heart and when we expect nothing in return.
I want to be close to the nature. I want to close to the, whether you call it God or the nature, and hear him, what he wants me to do. And if I can get the right message, and what I'm getting, that you take water from the Ganges, put it back into the Ganges, and that's what the life means.